What's up YouTube? This is the Wisco Boater channel. My name is Chad. We are going to get the first color applied to the boat today. I'll show you the color here in just a second. One thing with this paint is it has to be above 50 degrees on any surface that you're painting. And I've got the garage heater up there cranked up to 65 degrees so that we can get the boat up to the correct temperature. I don't know if you can hear it in the background or not, but the wind is whipping outside. It is 23 degrees outside. Nice and comfortable in the garage here at 65. I've got my little temperature gauge here, so we're gonna check the surface temperature of the boat, and then we'll get some paint going. All right, so temperature gauge, or temperature gun, whatever you wanna call this. We'll shoot it at the boat. We got 65, just under 65 degrees on the sides of the hull. Oh, we're up to 70 on the deck, which makes sense. The hot air blows right over the top of the boat. So we're at 62. So the coldest sections of the boat are gonna be in the back here. I'm not gonna paint the sides of the boat today, but even down in the lowest parts here, we're at 60. So plenty warm. The gunnels, 63, 64. Inside of the boat, also 63, 64. So we're good to go with the temperature of the surface. I'm going to paint just the top of the gunnels here and the inside, the interior, and the top deck because I haven't masked off the sides of the boat yet. I don't have my second color yet, but let's take a look at what the overall color of the boat's going to be. Hey, I'm using Total Boat Wet Edge Topside paint, and you can maybe see a little bit right there, but let's take a look. Here is the color this boat will be. First color, yellow. All right, well, the heater just started up, so I've got my paint in the tray down there. I'm gonna start with the interior. I'll do a time lapse of putting that on in the top deck and the gunnels, and then we'll take a look at it after I'm done with those first coats. Here is the first coat of yellow. This stuff goes down very, very nicely. It's really thin, so you have to be kind of careful on how heavy you put it down. But it covers nicely on the first coat. And I've always liked that kind of crinkly finish, so I apply these with the top coat with a roller. In case you're wondering what roller I am using, is this here. 1/4 inch nap for very smooth and flat surfaces. Says mirror finish, but that really all depends on the paint. So we'll see how this flows out here in the next day or so as it cures. But I think this looks fantastic. Got the inside done. This will get a second coat. There's plenty of paint to do 2 coats over the entire boat, but I think this is gonna look awesome. All right, one more update from tonight. I did go ahead and get the sides of the hull masked off, and you can see I am sticking with the original scheme, the trim scheme of the AlumaCraft from the late 50s, early 60s. So tomorrow I will get this area down here and inside the pennant back there painted in yellow. I did get both sides trimmed off. If you can see that or not, I'm not gonna walk all the way around, but both sides are done with the mask off and it's ready for paint. So this is gonna start looking pretty cool here in the next couple of days. All right, so the next day is seeing the yellow go on the sides of the hull. I've got the front part here done, as well as the pennant back here. This is just the first coat. Both sides are done, and it's looking really good. Again, not gonna go all the way around the backside there, but no reason to film putting on the yellow on the sides of the hull, I guess, just because it's the same thing as the time lapse that I did, putting the yellow on the top. So we'll let this dry a minimum of 16 hours, and then I'll do a little bit of scuffing with the Scotch-Brite pad over all of the yellow, and then put the second coat of yellow on before switching over to the other color. I'll have to do some remasking on the sides of the hull before I do that. All right, today I'm going to get started on the scuffing of the yellow. I'm going to use some maroon Scotch-Brite pads. The scuffing calls for either 220 grit sandpaper or Scotch-Brite. I prefer Scotch-Brite because it doesn't gum up like sandpaper does. You can get a lot more use out of each one of these pads than you can a piece of sandpaper. So I've started down here already. So just a little bit down here so I can show you what the difference is between the orange peely gloss on the first coat and a little bit of scuffing done with the Scotch-Brite pad already. So go over all the yellow, make it look kind of matte in finish. We're not really, don't want to get down into the paint and remove anything. Just want to scuff it up so the next coat goes on nicely. So do that over the entire boat. I'll put on the second coat and show you what that looks like. Well, I'll go ahead and do an update about halfway through here. You can see this side is all dull, and there's the halfway point of the Scotch-Brite scuffing. I've gone all the way down the gunnel, and I've started on the sides here. You can see where it gets shiny there. And it's actually coming out really nice and smooth. Okay, I've got the yellow paint masked off now for the next color. A few days later, I did get the mast and the nav light put back on, as well as the forward cleats. And I'll reveal the next color, which is going to be Battleship Gray. So I've got some poured out in my tray here already. So let's get the second color put on. Here is the first coat of gray. This stuff, just like the yellow, goes on real thin. So it's not gonna be a complete coverage on the first coat. You can see a little bit of primer in through there, but overall turned out pretty good. And I have to let this set for 24 hours to completely dry, and then we'll put on the second coat. I have a few little worries about the masking, the masked off areas. Some of the painter's tape, and this is the sharp edge stuff, the 2093. This is good tape, but I'm hoping that the tape actually stayed stuck down to the yellow in a few areas, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But for now, for tonight, here is the first coat of gray. Obviously, doesn't look the best because all the blue masking tape is still in place, but here in a couple of days, I have a nice finished painted boat. All right, here is the final result. Both coats done. I know this is the same angle I've been showing pretty much this entire video, but it's really the only angle I can get a good picture of the boat. So I've got the both coats of gray on, and the masking tape is all removed, and this turned out better than I thought it was going to. I am super, super happy with this. I was a little bit worried about some of the edges of the tape. Ended up not being an issue whatsoever, and the result is quite a bit more stunning than I thought it was going to be. This is the 4th boat that I've restored, not counting the tugboat that I built. And I really have to say this color combination on this particular boat is probably my favorite one I've done so far. So super, super happy with this. And just to show that it is all done, here's this side as well. I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled. So the next update will probably include things like putting on the new anchor. I'll talk about that next time, but I did end up buying a new anchor lift system. The old one I just couldn't get bent back in the correct position, so I'll show that next time. We'll get the windshield put back on, the horns, and really start making this thing look like a nice, nicely restored boat. So the big project on this one is going to be making the benches for the seats and upholstery and all that stuff, putting in carpet, and then we'll get to the engine a little bit later. But and the trailer, got to restore the trailer as well. But man, I am super, super stoked with the way this looks. So thanks for watching this episode of the Wisco Boater channel. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, send me some comments. And if you want to be notified when I post new videos like this one, hit that notification bell. We'll see you next time. Happy boating, everybody.